Hello and welcome to this holiday edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for City of Greensboro news and information. If your home was built prior to 1986, you may have received a letter from the City of Greensboro stating the material of your water service line pipe is unknown. There's no need to be alarmed by the letter. The city simply wants to determine the material of residential water service line pipes. If you do not know if your water pipe is galvanized or made of copper or lead, no need to worry. There is a web page to explain the process step by step. If you received a letter and you do know the material of your water pipes, please let us know. The city is taking inventory of all service line materials in our water system to meet EPA requirements. Check the pipe entering your dwelling through the wall or foundation. This is located at the main water shutoff valve to your home, sometimes found under your home or inside of a closet. The city will cover the cost to replace any water service pipes made of lead. If you know your service line material or have documentation from a plumber or other professional, please take a few minutes to complete the survey on the city's website. Enter your service address and simply follow the instructions. If you do not have internet access or you prefer a hard copy survey to be mailed, please call the contact center to submit a request. The Solid Waste and Recycling Department wants to assure residents they will not be issued a fine for leaves that fall into the street in front of their property. Additionally, the city is not asking residents to rake any leaves that fall on the street. The first priority is to educate residents on the proper way to collect and prepare the leaves for pickup. This approach has been successful and residents have promptly complied with the new rules. As a result, no fines have been issued. However, intentionally placing leaves in the curb line in front of your property could lead to fines being issued. Residents will be educated and given 14 days to properly prepare the leaves for collection. If the violations are not addressed when the city returns 2 weeks later, a $75 fine will be issued. If the leaves are still present after an additional 2 weeks, this is considered a nuisance and the fine could increase to $500. The city provided residents with one gray cart to fill the yard waste and leaves with. Once the carts are full, you can place up to 15 biodegradable paper bags along the curb line. Pickup service is weekly through the month of February. Afterwards, weekly service will continue, returning to the standard 10-bag limit. To purchase a second gray cart for $65, call the contact center at 336-373-2489. For more information about the new leaf collection rules, visit the city's website. The Greensboro City Council approved a containment and cover option for Bingham Park and full remediation of the former Hampton School property. The decision followed public input and presentations from the Parks and Recreation Department, the city's Office of Sustainability and Resilience, and the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. They presented two possible options for remediating the contaminated soil. The second option called for the full remediation of both properties. A containment and cover system will lock in contaminated soil at the park while the stream bank will be fully restored. All waste material at the Hampton School site will be removed and taken to a properly permitted and lined municipal solid waste landfill. The approved resolution confirms the city will not use White Street landfill for this purpose. Following remediation, a nature trail will be built at Bingham Park, while a neighborhood park will be placed on a portion of the Hampton School property. The cost for this remediation option is estimated at $12 million. The city will authorize the allocation of $10 million of the funds received for remediation from State House Bill 259 to support this project. Other funding is available from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality and a federal appropriations bill. Cone Health has partnered with the city to share a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Following these tips is an easy way to help each of us improve our quality of life. Let's take a moment to check out today's news for your health.
How well do you really understand food labels? It's an important step in making healthy choices. Let's talk about what you should look for. The first thing you should look at in a nutrition food label is the serving size, because that's going to differ from the portion size. The nutrition serving size is based off of 1 serving of that food and beverage. You may eat more than 1 serving, and you'll have to account for that on the facts label as far as total calories, fat, all of those things. So the percent daily value, or capital D, capital V on the foods label, is going to be a guide for you as far as how much of one nutrient you should get per day. And that's based off a percentage out of 2,000 calories a day, which you may need more or less of, depending on your stature, activity level, things like that. As an example, if a food label has 5% daily value, that's going to be 5% of your needs of that nutrient per day. So when you're looking at the total fat in a product, you'd also want to go underneath that and look at the breakdown of the fat. So trans fat, saturated fat, and unsaturated fat. For saturated fat, or fats that are solid at room temperature, you'd really want to look to limit those, or again, have no more than 5% of your daily value for those foods. For trans fats, I'd really recommend avoiding foods that have trans fats. They're man-made, they're not natural, and really not something that you'd want to consume on a regular basis, whereas unsaturated fats are your healthy fats, and those are things that are helpful for your joints, for your brain health, and those are liquid at room temperature. So when you're looking for sugars on the nutrition fact label, you really want to focus in on those added sugars, because those added sugars are what you'd really want to limit or avoid. That doesn't provide any nutritional value in your diet, but does add up as far as your daily caloric allotment pretty quickly. You should definitely be looking at vitamins, minerals, and fiber that's listed on the facts label. Getting a variety of those types of nutrients is all really important for daily functioning, and also preventing illnesses, for anemia, osteoporosis, all those things you hear about that you get later in life. For daily fiber requirements, for adult males it should be somewhere around 37 grams per day, and adult females somewhere around 25 grams per day. And you can find those in any fruits, vegetables, or whole grains. And eating a variety of those foods, eating foods with color, making your plate colorful is all a really great way to make sure you're getting that variety. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this information has been helpful. If you're interested in more information, go to conehealth.com/healthyeating. I'm Lisa Balestrino.
The Human Rights Commission is gearing up for the annual breakfast to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tickets are on sale. We'll have that story and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Tickets are on sale for the 39th annual breakfast honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The event, hosted by the Human Rights Commission, will take place at 7 a.m. on Monday, January 20th at the Corey Convention Center. Marcus Gause, the principal of Dudley High School, is the featured speaker. This year's theme is A Future of Service. Tickets are discounted at $35 through Sunday, December 1st. After that, tickets will be $45. The annual breakfast also recognizes the recipients of the Everyday Champions of Civil Rights Award. Individuals are recognized for their contributions to furthering Dr. King's vision or to championing civil rights, civil liberties, and/or human rights in Greensboro. The public may nominate individuals or organizations no later than Sunday, December 1st. Nominees of any age or occupation are eligible. Posthumous nominations are also accepted. The Corey Convention Center is located at 3121 Westgate City Boulevard. For more information, call the Human Rights Department at 336-373-2038. Creative Greensboro is accepting applications for next year's Downtown Arts program. For the 4th consecutive year, 10 Greensboro artists will be selected, including the artist who will be commissioned to create an original work for display in the city's permanent collection. The deadline to apply for these paid slots is Monday, December 9th. A committee comprised of Greensboro Cultural Affairs Commission members and staff from the city's Communications and Marketing Department will select the artists featured on the downtown kiosks. Each artist will receive a $500 honorarium and up to 10 weeks of display time for their work on the digital kiosks throughout downtown Greensboro. The artists are also featured on Creative Greensboro's website and social media platforms. One artist will be paid $3,000 to create an original work that will be displayed at City Hall through June 2025. For more information, contact Karen Archia with Creative Greensboro at 336-433-7362. The Greensboro Human Rights Boards and Commissions will host Brandon Ziegler, Chief Impact Officer of the Community Foundation of Greater Greensboro, as the featured speaker at the December 11th meeting. The program starts at 6 p.m. and will take place at the Barber Park Event Center on Barber Park Drive. Ziegler joins previous presenters in the city's Advocacy Development Training Series. He will discuss how individuals and communities build partnerships with organizations. In his role with the Community Foundation, Ziegler stewards resources that inspire economic mobility for people and communities denied such opportunities in the past. Attendees will also get to visit with commissioners from the Ad Hoc Committee on African American Disparities, the Commission on the Status of Women, the Human Rights Commission, the International Advisory Committee, and the Transgender Task Force. The representatives will provide information about upcoming programs and how to volunteer. For more information, contact Commission's Administrator Liz Lennon at 336-373-2038 or visit the city's website. The holiday season is upon us, which means lots of time in the kitchen doing food prep, cooking, and baking. Coming up after the break, we'll share some tips on how to keep the drains clear of bah humbug fogs. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. If the majority of your holidays is spent whipping up impressive appetizers and dinners that dazzle your guests, are you pouring pan drippings down the drain? Joining me now to tell us why kitchen cleanup should not include fogs is Lane Roberts. She is the Public Education Coordinator with the Water Resources Department. Hello, Lane.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
I know when you come at this time of the year, that means it's holiday time, it's cooking time, and then there are rules that you need folks to follow. So for the viewers who don't know, I use the term fogs. What does that stand for?
Yeah, so fogs or FOG stands for fats, oils, and grease. So fats can include meat fats, dairy fats. Oils can include anything from olive oil to cooking oil that you might use in a deep fryer, or even salad dressing oil. You want to make sure you wipe that pan or that plate free of that salad dressing, and then grease is the last one. So grease can be bacon grease, any type of, we like to call fogs to be anything that can solidify when it's cold.
Right.
So anything that you can imagine in warm temperatures would melt, anything that would solidify or harden in colder temperatures are going to be considered those fogs.
Crisco comes to
Yes,
mind.
yes. I wanted to say lard, but I'm like, do people still use lard?
Probably still do
Probably,
use lard.
probably.
Yes. So what happens if any of that, you get the fats, the oil, the grease, if that gets down the drain, what's the damage?
Yeah, so I like to think about it as a clogged artery. So we often can think about our arteries, and as plaque builds up, those arteries will condense in nature and the circumference will close up. So the same thing happens in our pipes when grease, I like to say, coagulate within the pipe. That pipe will shrink in diameter. And so over time, as you flush your toilets and you wash your clothes and you use the dishwasher, the water will not be able to pass through the pipe in the same way that it would naturally. And as I mentioned earlier, in the winter months, those things are going to condense even more and be more solidified in the winter months. And you know, when it's 90 degrees, it's going to likely pass through, but especially in the winter months, when it's colder, not only will it impact our lines, but it could also impact residents' lines inside their home.
Sure. So homeowners and residents should be checking their pipes. How can they do that to make sure there isn't a lot of gunk in there?
Yeah, so we just encourage you prevention to not put any fats, oils, and grease down the drain. If you do feel as if you might have a clog coming on, the natural kind of thing of doing the baking soda and vinegar, or a plunger that could help. But if you do encounter a clog that you cannot fix yourself, or you feel like you hear gurgling, you can always call a professional, call a plumber. But if you are having more concerning issues where your tub might be backing up, or your toilet, your sinks in your bathroom, you can always call the city, and we will investigate, because we do want to make sure that it is isolated in your home and not an issue within the city's lines.
Okay.
So you could potentially be having a backup because everyone in your neighborhood is pouring grease down the drain, and you just so happen to be impacted. So
Okay.
we want to prevent as much as we can.
And I think it's interesting. I'm associating just the kitchen sink, and you're pouring things down the sink, but you're saying this could affect everything, your tubs and your toilets, so it's going through the whole system of your house.
And a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I'll just pour the grease down the toilet. It's the same system. It's the same system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, don't do that, right? So just a side note to that, anything that goes down the toilet doesn't mean it should go down, right? So, and I'm going to transition just briefly to the wipes. Just because it says that it's flushable doesn't mean that it should be flushed.
Okay.
And so in conjunction with the fats, oils, and grease and the wipes, there can be that big glob of debris that builds up because those wipes are going to be attracted to that fat, oil, and grease in the pipes. Yeah.
So if you're doing all the holiday cooking and baking, what's the proper way that we should be disposing of the fat, oil, and grease?
Eat it. No, I'm kidding. If you don't eat it, you want to make sure that you put it in a container. If it's still hot, you want to let it cool. And then you can scrape. I did bring one of our nifty pan scrapers that we do give out at events. Scrape the pan, wipe it off, wash this, and put the cooled grease in the trash can. A lot of times people will like to use an old green bean can or a glass mug or something of that sort. But wait till it's dry before you put it in the trash, because you don't want to start a fire in your trash can. But we do want it to be closed container and put it in your trash.
And that's not recyclable.
Correct. Yes, if you were to put it in a food can, you would not want to recycle that afterwards. Yes, good point to that.
We don't want your colleagues in recycling to come over and tell us.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, you showed us the nifty tool. You've given us great tips. How can folks get that information and share it with their friends and neighbors?
Yeah, so we just encourage you to visit our webpage. We do have the www.greensboro-nc.gov/fog or fat-free. And those web pages do kind of outline a lot of things that people like to commonly flush down the toilet that can coagulate with the fats, oils, and grease. And then again, we do always encourage folks to give us a call if they do have clogs. And we want to investigate and make sure that it's not a city problem impacting a whole neighborhood. I have had a resident in the past share with me that she received a notice or a door hanger on her door before. And that came from because of a scenario where we had a sanitary sewer overflow. And so a sanitary sewer overflow is essentially raw sewage being released into the streets and streams via those utility holes or manholes. And so what our staff do, they'll canvass the area and put those door hangers on the residents' homes in that area to educate them. So we encourage neighbors to share that information with their friends and their family. We can't be everywhere all the time, so knowledge is power. When you have knowledge, we want and encourage folks to share it. And I think that would probably be it. So prevention is number one, and then share the knowledge with your friends and family. It could even be a topic over Thanksgiving if you so desire, right?
Okay, you will not be invited back.
Right, I know, it's not a Thanksgiving
so
talk.
only if you want to get rid of folks who you don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Well, Lane, this was great information. I'm going to call it a crash course in fog. So thank you for those tips, and we look forward to the other tips that you'll be sharing on your next visit.
Yeah, thanks so much,
Thank
Carla.
you. Stay tuned for some interesting and useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That segment is coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact you and our city is by attending or tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. The City Council meetings take place in the Katie Dorset Council Chamber on Level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building, located at 300 West Washington Street. The public is allowed in person, but only in a limited capacity. Those who choose not to be in the building can participate virtually. The Greensboro City Council meetings are broadcast right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. To review the council meeting schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. The Greensboro City Council unanimously passed a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Greensboro Urban Ministry regarding the winter shelter program. The local faith community and other stakeholders have partnered with the city and Greensboro Urban Ministry to develop a program to provide overnight sheltering this winter. Greensboro City Manager Nathaniel Trey Davis said the city is expanding its community partnerships in an effort to enhance services to the unhoused in advance of the winter season. We are thankful for these partnerships as they allow the city to provide for our most vulnerable population in their time of need. Through this program, Greensboro Urban Ministry will expand its Weaver House shelter program, adding nearly 60 beds. This expansion is in addition to the 83 beds available at the city's Doorway project located at Pomona Park. Greensboro Urban Ministry will operate 4 additional locations downtown, providing case management and support staff. The program will be available from December through March 2025. Coming up after the break, we'll showcase our department spotlight, but first, prepare to mark your calendars for all the places to go and things to do on the town.
I'm Dave, and here are some upcoming holiday events on the town. Irish music and dance sensation A Taste of Ireland presents its holiday spectacular, A Celtic Christmas, December 5th at the Carolina Theatre. Delight in some of the world's finest Irish dancers and musicians, bringing the spirit of Christmas to life in a show that will make you laugh, cry, and sing into the night. Learn more and get tickets at carolinatheater.com. The University of North Carolina's School of the Arts presents 5 performances of The Nutcracker, December 6th through the 8th at the Tanger Center. The production features UNCSA's Symphony Orchestra and students from the schools of dance, design and production, and music. Get tickets to this annual holiday tradition at tangercenter.com. The Vance Chavis Library hosts a portrait studio December 8th, so families can have a nice picture to share at the holidays. Stop by for a free winter-themed portrait, complete with a festive backdrop and photographer. There will be refreshments while supplies last. Learn more online at greensborolibrary.org. The hits Broadway musical Elf comes to the Tanger Center for performances December 10th through the 15th. Enjoy the hilarious tale of Buddy the Elf, which is based on the beloved 2003 blockbuster movie starring Will Ferrell. This modern Christmas classic is sure to make you embrace your inner elf. Get tickets at tangercenter.com. Stay tuned to FYI Weekly for more happenings on the town.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents, and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. The City of Greensboro scored 100 points in the 2024 Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index, or MEI. This marks the 4th consecutive year the city received a perfect score for this national report card. The MEI examines the laws, policies, and services of municipalities and rates them in 5 categories on the basis of their inclusivity of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender LGBT people who live and work in the city. This year, a record-breaking 130 cities, or more than 25% of all MEI-rated cities, earned the highest score of 100. The city of Greensboro scored highest among the following index categories: non-discrimination laws, municipal services, law enforcement, and leadership on LGBTQ+ equality. The Municipal Equality Index is produced by the Human Rights Campaign, which represents more than 1.5 million members and supporters of LGBT equality in the United States. Coming up after the break is our Way to Go GSO shout out. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO shout out. This week's shout out goes to Smith Active Adult Center. The facility received its 5-year recertification as a North Carolina Center of Excellence presented by the North Carolina Division of Aging. Centers of Excellence are recognized for providing exemplary services and opportunities to older adults in their communities and serve as models to other senior centers across the state. Ebony Lewis, Assistant Director of the Piedmont Triad Regional Council Area Agency on Aging, presented the certificate to Smith Center Supervisor Tanaya Jackson and Active Adults Program Coordinator Jenny Matkins. The Smith Active Adult Center serves active adults ages 50 and older. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings, which airs on 90.1 FM, 100.7 FM, and 90.5 FM. Be sure to download both weekly podcasts, Talk City Greensboro and Talk City in Espanol, plus GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.